What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with SPY and a couple of other tickers and break down some other things going on with the markets. And I want to give you guys a warning about where we are. Let me first say that I'm not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends very soon. If you deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. Anyways, looking at SPY, we'll notice something very interesting. We got this very nice uptrend. We're pushing. And then today we actually reached the top. We came very close to this top right here. The top was at 503.5, and SPY ended up reaching 503.3 today. So we did push higher, but since we hit the top, we've been actually starting to downtrend just a bit. And now we're just kind of consolidating very close to 500. So the question is, how will SPY end up closing from here? What's going to happen? Now we have a lot of puts expiring, but we're well above max pain. If you look at our current options chain, max pain is currently at 485. We're still well above that, so the market makers are still in a very advantageous position, and the majority of the puts are still out of the money, so they're doing quite fine. For that reason, they don't have to pump the market like crazy. They don't have to cause the market to crash or do anything. Even if we close where we're at, the market makers are going to be fine. So they don't have to pump the market like all the way up to 503, 505 by the time we close. So that's the first thing I wanted to just note. The second thing that I find a little concerning is that the last time SPY was at 503, got this big rejection. It started to downtrend, and CPI came out, and this thing dropped. We hit 503 again. This time we rejected, so we have a tight resistance up there. Now, could this be the start of a downtrend? Are we about to see a bigger drop from here, or are we about to form some kind of like cup and handle? The answer is I can't really promise anything just yet because the overall pattern in the setup is very mixed as we're just shuffling around 500. I'm going to be watching to see if we close around 500 and watch this on a level to level basis. Later on, if we lose like 499 to 498, we could fall all the way down to this imbalance here at 496.8, followed by 496 flat. If that fails, this 494 is critical support. If we lose that, we turn really bearish. So I just wanted to call that out. Now, we're actually very high above that. So we're not in a position where I could just tell you the market's going to sink from here on out. The best thing to do is just watch it and see how it goes. Now, one thing we could also do is we could also look at this pattern that could be forming. We could be forming kind of like a diamond top pattern. If I actually put this side by side, let me just show you. So I could take this picture like this, right? And put this next to the chart, and you will notice that there is a connection here. I could do this and then put this here. So looking at it, we got this nice push up on SPY. You know, we were consolidating back here, right? We kind of consolidated, and then we eventually got this push to the high. We broke down to this low, making this new low here. We came back up, and now we're just kind of consolidating again, similar to this pattern. And this is typically what happens when stocks start topping. There might be more consolidation for another day or so before we continue to sink. That is one possibility. So the question is that what's about to happen? Are we about to see SPY sink a bit? Or is SPY about to be forming a cup and handle? The best way for me to answer this is to say, I don't truly know right now. I can't promise anything. But I can tell you that I'm going to wait and see what happens when we open on Tuesday. Remember, the market's going to be closed on Monday. So we'll see if this is forming something different or if this is going to be our sign of a top. Are we forming like a double top here, like this, and then we can consolidate and reject like this going into next week, right? Are we about to do that? Or is this going to be a cup and then handle like formation that's about to be forming for us to push even higher? The best thing for me to say is watch your levels, watch your indicators, and wait and see which way we break. So far, we're still trying to hold 500. If we lose 500, I would be targeting 498. If we hold above 500, we could retest 501 again. So right now, the chart looks very indecisive. There are different patterns that do suggest different things, but the best thing to do is just be patient, and we'll just have to wait and see. I just want to give you guys that warning by what I'm seeing so far on SPY. So it is possible that we're forming a double top and we're going to get a rejection, but it's also possible this is a cup and handle. And the best thing to do is just wait and see. Just let me just clarify that. For Tesla, how is Tesla looking? Tesla, in my opinion, is looking okay. This thing got a very, very nice breakout. Reached 205, came just short of our gap fill at 207, and it's starting to reject a bit. It's kind of shuffling around 200. We're going to be watching to see if we could try to hold above 200. If we do hold it, I'm going to be looking for another attempt to fill the gap next week. And if we fail to do so, SPY could drag this down a bit. And if we end up closing below this, there's going to be a risk of it coming back down to about 197.5 and eventually 195. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. For now, we have this very strong uptrend on Tesla that was being respected. It is due to pull back a little bit. That was no surprise. And I'm just going to be watching the close. Tesla's still holding up well, right? And we still have this inverse head and shoulders like structure that's still quite positive, right? This left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder down here. Even if we do come down a bit, we can always still slowly uptrend and fill our gap. It does not have to happen immediately, but the trend is still favoring bulls slightly more. Tesla's still holding up nicely. So I'll just wait and see how it goes. For the QQQ, just like SPY, you could see that this thing is showing a little bit more weakness. Is this about to be forming kind of like a head and shoulders reversal pattern here? I'm going to be looking for a little rebound for Tuesday, and then we'll see if we get a big rejection. We end up coming back down towards 430 because the QQQ is showing some weakness. It's not looking as strong. This kind of looks like a double top, but this could be the sign of a trend reversal because we got this rejection off this high. We came down, we pushed up, and then we're getting a rejection and forming a lower high, which could be a signal that this thing is going to continue dropping. To turn bullish, we have to try to break our high here, the high of the day at 437. And then we have to break 438 and try to get back above this high to turn bullish. If we fail to do so, this could be the start of a downtrend, so be very careful on the QQQ. All right. There is going to be a risk of it coming back down to these lows down here, like 427 or so, if we fail to end up getting a rebound. So I'll be watching for that going to next week. The chart is showing some weakness, but we'll see where it closes at. On Nvda, it's just sideways price action. We've been range bound between 725 and 740 for the last couple of days. So we'll have to see which way it breaks. Otherwise, it's just back and forth price action. But one thing I do want to note is that Nvidia was not able to get a cup and handle breakout. It was not able to break above or even close above 740 thus far. So you could interpret that as a sign of weakness, but so far Nvidia is just barely holding its support. So we'll just have to wait and see how it does. Otherwise, it's just range bound completely. Then we have Aapl stock. Aapl, it made an attempt to bounce. I was hoping it would try to base at 182, but actually it's starting to fail. So it's actually a little bit weaker than what we expected. I was hoping it would base at 182. It actually failed. And now we're going to be looking at this low right here. Because if it keeps sinking like this, our next target is going to be all the way down towards the lower 181 area. And if we lose that, 180 is going to be our next target all the way down here. So I could see it sinking more. It's showing some weakness. It tried to bounce after the AI news came out, but it wasn't enough. And it's still continuing to consolidate in this range. It's technically still within its range, so it hasn't completely collapsed, but it is showing weakness as it's just barely holding 182. And the trend is still bearish, unfortunately. It still has some bearish momentum. So this is slowing the market down. So my warning for everyone is there's a possible topping formation on SPY, which could be leading to some downside, even for next week. So you want to be very careful. We did push more. We got the pump we were talking about, but SPY has not been able to maintain its levels. Looking at Tesla, it's slowing down a bit too, so we want to be very careful, especially heading into next week. And we'll just have to see how things go. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening. The market closes very soon. I'll be back for one more video for the day. I'll make it very, very quick and simple. But with that being said, take care, guys. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one, and peace out.